We're in the middle of learning the dinim of Mashiv hoRuach made haGeshem.
Today in Israel they started with a tal.
Right, tonight they already started with saying Talamotter.
Yeah?
If I'm going to Eretz Israel for 1 week, I'm saying over there Mashiv hoRuach made again. I mean uMorid. When I come back to America, I'm saying before December, I continue saying it. If I'm the chazan, I should say.
You are doing?
Yeah. I'm going next week. Yeah. So when I come back, I have to say it quietly, like Israel and Chazal Sashas like America.
That pasuk he brings is from Sefer
You
Yeshayahu.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I remember last year, the Rav told me, say it quietly, like Israel, because once you start, you can't go back to this. But if you're a chazan, you have to say it loud, like American, because you can't shine the...
You go to Rome, act like Rome.
So Belachash you say like Eretz Yisrael, because you're davening for the crowd over here. Look into it.
Chaim talks about it.
Right?
I don't remember if he talks in the Gate of Chazan, but he talks about going to Eretz Yisrael, what to do. And the Rebbe has a letter also about it. So maybe after the shir I'll look it up. Okay, so remind me after the shir.
I'm not going this week, I'm going the following week. So.
Yeah.
What page are we?
Okay, page Shin Chavtes.
Because the bias question, the bias question, Bible is a strong question, and you have to explain what Rabbi was saying. But Bible's question, what do you mean? You can make
Chaftet or?
Shin Chavtes. Shin Chavtes.
You can make a strong sukkah. The question on Rabbi's problem is a problem. What do you mean? It has to be a deer sarai. You can't make a deer sarai. If you make a deer sarai and you have a sukkah between buildings with bricks and everything, that's not a deer sarai.
Before we go, let's just make a short chazara. What we spoke last time. Koidim kol, we have to remember. Chazal, we're only mechayev. We're mechayev two things, Chazal. We should be maskir Geshem, and we should be shoyel Geshem. Haskara and she'ela. Haskara we start Shmini Atzeres, and she'ela and Eretz Yisrael start Zayin Cheshvan, and then out of Eretz Yisrael Chutzlar starts 60 days.
December 4, I think.
60 days when the season
Kufa.
starts.
It's called Kufa.
Yeah, we're meant to learn about it. The Maisa, that's the only thing Chazal Mechayev. Anything about mentioning Tal and Ruchis is not a Chiyuv. It's not mentioned in Chazal. It's a minik. Moed Hatol, it's a minik.
Right, some Sidurim look, it doesn't say it.
Oh, because they don't have the minik. Mashiv hoRuach, saying the words Mashiv hoRuach, minik. Saying what we're going to say, and so they started saying the same Tal, they say also their Shoyel Tal, the same Tal, also minik. The Iker Chiyuv is the same matter. Moed haGeshem, the same matter. Everything else is a minik. Because of this, there are different minhagim. Now, rain is something we all know is very vital, Geshem, and therefore we need to mention and to ask for it. The reason why we first mention is because before one asks for something, you need to we ask in the appropriate time. We start to mention it earlier. We mentioned how Hashem has the koyach to bring rain. Rain is an unbelievable thing. Hashem has the power to bring rain. He created rain, He brings rain. So, just when you ask someone for something, you're supposed to be meshabeach the person first. You want something from someone, so the child knows to tell the father, I like you, and you're so great, you're unbelievable, you know how to give me money all the time, hand over the money. Then a few weeks later you say hand over the money, right? So we first say, Mashiv hoRuach, made it haGeshem, we talk about it. We talk about it earlier on. When it comes as man, we need to be shoyel. Then we're shoyel. Why in Eretz Yisrael we shoyel Zayin Cheshvan? Because in Eretz Yisrael, where Emes you could start right away, right after Yom Tov.
Yeah, but the people did not go back to the house.
Because people were oile regel for Sukkot. Shmini Atzeres, Sukkot. And they were
far away.
And some people, it took them a long time to get to Israel. The furthest people took them 2 weeks to get back home. So Zayin Cheshvan, the Achrin should be Israel, the last Yid managed to be home. So we don't want to even be we don't want to be shoyal Geshem, and in time there'll be a tsar for you. That means even though all of Klal Yisrael needs rain, and such an important thing, but on Avos Yisrael, for that last Yid who's going home, you have to wait till every Yid gets home. Once they're all home and they make sure they're settled in the house, then we're going to ask for Geshem. So we wait. Etzem we can ask right away. In Eretz Yisrael we need rain right away. Outside of Eretz Yisrael, the season doesn't start right away for rain, so you wait till later. It's not necessary to ask right away, so we're just maskir, we're not shoyal till later. Now, because of this, someone forgot to say Moed Hatol, no chiv to go back. Because Tal is no chiv, it's only a minig. It's a minig, it's not a chiv, you don't have to be choizer to, even if you went by in your middle of the bracha, you don't have to go back to the beginning. Now, however, we're going to learn now in Sif Dalid, if you did not say Moed Hatol, it's not a big deal. The problem is, what happens if you didn't, instead of saying Moed Hatol in the summer, you said Moed HaGeshem? Is the summertime the time for Geshem? No. It's a Siman Klola. No one wants rain in the summer. So then you have to go back. So you're going back not because you didn't say something you should, you're going back because you said something you shouldn't.
Exactly.
Siv Daled. Im Omar Moed HaGeshem Yimoy Sachama. You said Moed HaGeshem in the summertime. Machzin Oisai, you need to go back. Therefore, since the simin klala, since this one mentioned the klala, he has to go back. Say the bracha again without a klala. You have to go back to the beginning of the bracha. The bracha starts with At Gibber, second bracha Shmoneh Esrei. If you go back just to Machal Kol Chaim, you're not being mevatel. Oh, Chal Kol Chaim is not going back. Chal Kol Chaim is right afterwards, right? At Mashiv Machal Kol Chaim, right? So if you go to Machal Kol Chaim, you continue. We have a problem here. You're not being mevatel mashihiska shalei kedin. Shekain l'shal skars make sham. That's what you do when you say Moed HaGeshem in the winter time. What do you say afterwards? Chal Kol Chaim Moed HaGeshem. So then you have to go back to At Gibber. If you're ready, only remember after you said Baruch Hashem Mechayeh Mesim, you remember that you said Mashiv Moed HaGeshem. So Allah Reish Tefillah. Why do you have to go all the way back to the beginning? Shakol hatoya be'eza bracha. Anyone makes a mistake in any bracha, be'ingin shetzara last second say in a manner that you are chiv to go back to fix your mistake. V'leichaza you do not go back to fix it at shachasa bracha zot till you said v'chsim baruch atah Hashem. Lo'idai lo'shiyasal makshim tal second. By the first three brachas are considered one unit. It's not enough for you just to go back to the beginning of that bracha. El tzalaz l'reish bracha. The Gimel brachas Rishonis chashuvas kebracha achas. They're all like one bracha. So I mean, if you remembered before you finished Baruch Hashem Mechayeh Mesim, but you said Moed HaGeshem, you go back to At Gibber and you say it again. You don't have to go back to the beginning. Once you already said Baruch Hashem Mechayeh Mesim, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of Shmoneh Esrei. This halach is not negaya this time of the year. It's negaya summertime. Summertime.
What doesn't happen is because of mistake.
We're going to talk about in Sivav soon what's the gear for us if one forgot Mashiv Moed HaGeshem. It's a Moed HaTol. What's the deal? Now after Shmoneh Atzeres. Siv Hey. What happens if someone made this mistake after Pesach, right? The first day of Pesach is when you start to say, we stop saying Mashiv Moed HaGeshem, right? The Iker is not the Moed HaTol, right? The Iker is we stop Mashiv Moed HaGeshem. Right. Some Kehillah say Meir Hatol, some don't say Meir Hatol. So now, what happens if you made a mistake then and you said Mashiv hoRuach, made a haGeshem? So we said before it's a Siman Klola. But what happens if the Tkufa of Nisan is not yet over? Did not yet start yet, yeah? So, means it's still considered winter technically. So you made this mistake.
It's Pesach, but it's not.
Afilu b'zman haGeshem. Afilu b'zman shehaGeshem einei siman klola. Kiven shelo yotza hadayin Nisan shel Chama. The Nisan shel Chama, the tkufa of Nisan did not start yet. Afilu m'tzichim b'ksham, even if where the place we are still needs rain. Machzinos, you tell him to go back in Shmoneh if you say Meir haGeshem. Why? Since majority of the time, usually after the first day of Pesach, after we stop saying Geshem, Geshem is a Siman Klola. Chacham did not make any differentiation. But Amr they said, if you stop saying it, in Hiskim, you have to go back, it's a Klola.
Even though he has no Klola, but
it's a sense, yeah. Even though practically speaking there's no Klola, but majority of the time it is a Klola. Chazal made a blanket rule. You have to go back.
Shouldn't be like sometime yes, sometime no.
The rest of the Sif, he says even a bigger Chiddush. We know that there are certain lands, countries, that always need rain, even during the summer. You know which countries?
Egypt.
The southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Anything below the equator,
They need
now we're starting winter, they're starting summer.
Exactly the opposite.
Exact opposite.
But they're still saying davening like a sun, not like a chutzlaretz.
Oh, so one thing he says, the whole machlekes and discussion, what should those countries do? Doesn't make sense that they should be starting to say the same Talamata now. They're starting their summer season. So, la'alocha, it's a machlekes about it, right? It says, Alter Rebbe here, that whole discussion is only about She'ela. But Haskara, it's for sure that they say Meir haGeshem. Right? I'm sorry. The whole shaila is over there is that maybe they should be shoyal. They should ask
not
for
maskir.
rain. Not maskir. The opposite.
Right. Shoyal.
Shoyal, maybe since they need rain, they should be shoyal and brechas hashanim and saying dalmater. But the gabi haskara, no. Haskara, they go like the whole oilam. That is never a shaila.
Right.
The whole machlokes is about whether or not they should be shoyal, but they should not be saying Mashiv Meir haGeshem in the summertime. Feel about Shelo Oilam in Tzvichis like Shamei Sacham, they always need rain during the summer. Beingen Shim Shalvan Shamei Sacham as Hashanim Azina say, which to the point where these countries, if you ask for rain in the summertime, you don't go back in Achoizer because they taka need rain. Mikol Makim still in Hiskim and Geshem at Chias HaMesim. If one mentioned Geshem at Chias HaMesim, Machzino Yisay, Shetzoyrich Arotzes L'Kshamim meaning Inyan LaHaskara. The need for countries of rain has nothing to do with the Haskara or She'ela. Shebeshe'ela, he explains in the parentheses in the Sugrayim, Shebeshe'ela Mavakesh La'artze. When you ask for your land. Haskara, when you're just mentioning a Mashabeach ala Kadosh Baruch Hu Shemeir Gshamim. Shaloi Be'itam Shem Siman Klol Eretz Yisrael. That you go by Eretz Yisrael. You say, you're mentioning Hashem as a koyach. We want to mention Hashem's koyach, we talk about in relation to Eretz Yisrael. And Eretz Yisrael,
Summer is not
and,
good.
and all lands of upper hemisphere, it's no good. Summertime's not an Indian that you want rain. So therefore you said Mashiv Meir haGeshem in the summer over there.
It's a klola.
It's a klola. Because it's a klola for Eretz Yisrael. L'chein tzarich loimer oiser bracha b'loi klola. Therefore you have to say again that bracha without a klola. Okay.
That's right.
Sivav, this is shaykhs for us.
Nostalgia. Somebody make a mistake like this in a study. It's possible.
Yeah.
But the truth is, no, the summer is the beginning. In the study, now it's summertime.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
that,
you know the
not that
summer.
winter is winter, but I'm saying the summer started officially.
Sivov. Okay, very important halacha. V'imoisak shamim in the rain season, which is now. Im loy amar meid haGeshem. If you did not say meid haGeshem, filo amar if you says the words Mashiv hoRuach. Machzinos, you have to go back. Because remember, Chazal told you mechayev you have to say meid
Let's
haGeshem.
go.
So that means if you forgot but you remembered after Shemana, so you have to do Shemana over?
Yes, and if you remember the in middle, your bracha, you gotta go back. At the ending of the bracha, go back to the beginning of all three brachas. But the pile, we don't have to. Why not? Because we have a minig that we say Meir Hatol during the summer. It's a minig. You don't have a chiyuv to say Meir Hatol. Minig Ashkenaz, they don't say it.
They don't say it at all.
They don't say anything at all. We say it a whole summer, right? So Adam also saying it. So if you are saying it during the summer, so it comes out. If you make a mistake, you didn't say Mashal haGeshem. What happens? You're saying Meir Hatol. And Ashkenazi says it. He's not saying. If he doesn't say Mashiv hoRuach, it means he's skipping. He's not saying anything.
Right.
But if we are skipping it, we're instead saying Meir Hatol. That's what our tongue is used to saying Meir Hatol. So over here, close on the second line, Sevav. Who? When is this halacha bensha going on that you go back? Only shalihisker tal. If you didn't mention Meir Hatol, alum hisker tal. But if you said Meir Hatol instead of Meir haGeshem, ein machzinos, you don't have to go back. The second line in Vav. Afilo isima bracha. Even if you didn't finish the bracha, you don't have to go back. Big chiddush. Even didn't finish the bracha, you don't have to go back.
Because rain.
Sha'ah shatali netzer. What does it help that I mentioned tal? Tal. There's always tal. Dew never stops falling. Mikol makim shevach u'la'kadosh baruch hu b'askrasi. You're praising Hashem when you mention it. Hashem has a koyach that He created and brings dew. And that's similar to Baskaras haGeshem. Shem shagsham chaim lo'ilam. Just like rain is forever. Kachatal chaim lo'ilam is always dew. Dew never stops. Sheidei kach misbareches hatvua. If mentioning this, the tvua has a brach in it.
By having the dew.
Yeah. So the Maisa. So over here, this is the halacha. We have to know this time of the year, you make a mistake, you're not choizer. Except for those who have the meaning Ashkenaz, they don't say Meir Hatol. So if they forget after Shemini Atzeres, Shat is I'm not saying anything.
Right.
You don't say anything, you have to go back. But if you said Meir Hatol, in a Chanami, you missed out a day, but you didn't say Meir haGeshem, but you still praised Hashem today about the Tal, which that also brings bracha to the Tvua. So you don't have to be choizer. However, the Alter Rebbe is why now? Why? How come if I don't say? How come if I say? Let's say if I just say Mashiv hoRuach, I don't say Meir haGeshem. I don't say Meir Hatol. Strange thing. A person just said the words Mashiv hoRuach. Mashiv hoRuach, and he kept on going, and he didn't say Meir haGeshem.
He didn't mention nothing.
So the halacha we saw earlier on in the parentheses, the Alter Rebbe said it won't help you. Even if you said Mashiv hoRuach, it's not good. The question is why not? It's also a praise to Hashem. Hashem brings winds. He created wind. Why is that not a Shevach HaDeibishter? So he says here in the ending the parentheses over here. If a kam mekoymis, karu chacham lahatal tal tchiyah. In many places we find the Chazal, that Chazal called tal tchiyah. It's the dew of life. Masha'inkin hoRuach, wind, ashi afshalem baruches. Even though the world cannot exist without wind, wind's a necessity for the world. It's not considered something that exists forever. You always have wind, like rain and dew.
Geshem v'tal, you need always.
So therefore,
you don't need always.
Right. So therefore, it's not going to always.
It's not going to help you by saying Mashiv hoRuach.
Exactly. And this is actually the reason for our minig. What is the reason why this minig was created to say Meir Hatol in the summer? Why do we have this minig? They mentioned Tal the entire summer. Kedei, in order, you'll forget in this time of the year. Chazaka, then the assumption is Shamar Meid Hatol, Kameshim Megil Meisacham.
Well, you have to say
So this is the whole reason of our minig. The whole reason we're saying Meid Hatol.
the whole summer.
Summer is in case we might forget.
In the winter.
Winter Meid haGeshem, and how we don't have to go back. After Pesach, nothing will help you if you said Mashiv hoRuach and Meid haGeshem, because there you said a klola,
Right.
so you have to go back. Because you don't want.
In
You
the
don't
winter.
want. In the winter, you said a bracha. You said something a bracha. You said a Meid Hatol. But Ruach is not such a shevach, not enough of a shevach to be a substitute for Meid haGeshem. So we don't. It's not going to help you.
We say Tal is a Machaya. Tal Machaya.
Now,
So there's places in the world, it doesn't rain over there, and it's on top of the mountain, very, very high. How people live. The end of the roof, they make like half a pipe. In the morning, it's dew, very, very strong, and it's going down to the pipe, and that's where the water they have. Take a shower with it.
which place?
Like Ecuador, it's like 5,000 above sea level. Very, very high in the mountains, and people live
So
there.
above the clouds.
Way above, way above, 5,000 feet higher than the ocean. It's like very few places in the world like that. So you can bring water, pipe water 5,000 feet, from the ground. So that's the way they live, from top.
Interesting.
Chochmah.
There's enough towel there?
Yeah, every morning there's so much cloud and this. The clothes always moisture, has moisture because they do. And then the whole day
Is a city over there?
people live.
The whole city?
Yeah, the Barlow went to make a bris over there. He told me that the plane came and he about to land and he didn't see the runway. You have to go back. And again, like 3 times till he came, till it was clear, and then he was able to. If not, he will hit the mountain.
There are known also coffee. They make the best coffee in the world.
Where, Ecuador?
Ecuador.
No, but I'm saying we call it Tal Machai. If Mamash Machai, if not, they can't survive that. You can bring water with you. It's a big city. I know not millions of people, but a lot of people live.
But they have some Jews there, huh?
They're making a lot of money with all the hotels and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting place to be. You can't predict when you're going to take off, when you're going to land. It all depends on the cloud. A plane could take off from the main airport to the place over there, but you might get to the place and land and go back. Only when it's clear you could land. If not, you'll hit the mountains. No, but I'm saying the concept I want to say is because it's called Tal Machai. Without the Tal, they wouldn't be surviving.
Okay. Rabbi say.
We headed by the
Now, Siv Zayin. Very wichtig. Now, we spoke over here that if one did not say not Mashiv hoRuach Meid haGeshem and not Meid Hatol in the winter, you have to go back because you didn't say anything. It's not too common, such a shaila, but if you don't say anything, you have to go back. Now, what happens if you remembered in the middle of the bracha that you didn't say anything? Not Meid Hatol, not Mashiv hoRuach, because it's much for Ashkenazi. This is a very common shaila. He didn't say anything. He didn't say He doesn't say Meid Hatol because he never says Meid Hatol.
So you forgot to say.
And he saw Meid haGeshem. He didn't think. Now you didn't remember it before Machalkel Chayim. You remember it later on. Could you just say it in the middle over there? He says over here you're allowed to say it because it's only a minig to say it before Machalkel Chayim. Because Machalkel Chayim b'chesed means Hashem gives sustenance, gives parnasa for the world, kakala. So rain brings us the parnasa, brings us everything to grow. So we mention it right before Machalkel Chayim Geshem. That's a minig. The chiyuv is not dafke there. Anywhere in this bracha is the makkah. So if you remember to say it anywhere in the bracha, you say it there. Siv Zayin. You say, when do we turn someone back? To go back to the beginning. When one did not mention neither Geshem nor Tal, and he finished the whole bracha, and he started the next bracha. The oz and the halacha is like we explained earlier. You have to go back to the beginning of the bracha of the Taushas Bar Lil because it's all one bracha. If you remember before you finish the bracha, Yoimar, one should say haGeshem. Say it wherever you remembered. Chazal themselves, the Chacham and the Gemara, Chachmei Gemara, were not kevei a specific place where in this bracha to say it. In the Gemara, it doesn't say where to say it. In Mishnayos, it doesn't say. In Mishnayos brachas, maskirin gevuris geshamim b'tchiyas hamesim. That's the lashon. We are maskir gevuris geshamim, Hashem's koyach of rain, somewhere in tchiyas hamesim. The bracha mechayim. Where? Chazal never said. So therefore, wherever you say it is good. Ella shenagu the minig is lo oimre lefnei mechalkel chayim. The haGeshem kakola uparnasa. Wherever you want in the bracha, you could say it. You could chap it and say it again wherever you are in the bracha. Now, furthermore, he's going to say a bigger chiddush on the next paragraph. What happens if someone finished the bracha? He said, Baruch Ata Hashem Mechayeh Mesim.
I have to go back.
You don't have to go back. If you remembered right over there before you said Ata Kodesh, you could say it right there. After the bracha.
Even say
Mashiv hoRuach, uMorid haGeshem.
Even you make Chatima, Baruch Ata Hashem,
Yeah.
Even though?
Yeah. Because you did not say the next bracha, it's like you're still in the middle of this bracha, so I could add a few more words to my bracha. I didn't start the next one. So I'm making my bracha a little longer. I'm still part of this bracha. Even if you concluded the bracha, you remember before you said the third bracha, Ata Kodesh, without ending the bracha, just those 4 words. And then continue saying Ata Kodesh. Even Lagabe, these things that you have to go back for, we don't say to see my bracha.
Right.
You're allowed to be mashlim and say it. However, it is considered a siyum for things that you're not supposed to say, that you don't go back for. For example, there are certain things that there's no chiyuv to go back. Let's say someone missed Atoch and Antonu in Ma'ariv. You don't go back. Why? Because you have a kois for Havdalah. You rely on Havdalah on the kois. If you want to do malacha after Shemana Esrei, you have to say Baruch HaMavdal. But we know you have on the kois. If you don't have a kois, you would have to go again and do Shemana Esrei. Since you have a kois, you rely on that Havdalah. So you're not machzir oisei. In such a case, since the chiyuv is you're not supposed to go back, if you said Baruch Ata Hashem Chayne Hadas, I forgot it Techan Antanu.
Too late.
Even though you didn't start the next bracha, you can't go back. You can't go back because there's no chiyuv to go back. So we say you're mesayim the bracha, siyum bracha. Case closed. Another example: Yalav Yavei on Rosh Chodesh. We know you have to go back. If you forgot, you have to go do Shemana Esrei again, except for Ma'ariv. Ma'ariv, the halach is you don't have to go back. We'll just mention the reason in a minute. Chiv is you don't have to go back. So if I said Ritzei, I forgot Yalvay, so that's a Siyum HaBracha Ritzei. I said Siyum, I forgot Yalvay. But I didn't start saying Maidim. So I might say, it's not the Siyum HaBracha. When it comes to things that you don't have to go back for, like in Ma'ariv, then that's considered like it's not a good enough reason to add things to the bracha. You have no chiyuv to go back because you will chatchila supposed to say it. You didn't say it, but the yoytza. We don't allow you to add it to the ending of the bracha. On the other hand, something like Mashiv haGeshem, which you have a chiyuv to say, and if you didn't say Moed Hatol either, so you have a chiyuv to go back. Then we allow you to add it on to the ending of the bracha. Even though you said Baruch Ata Hashem Mechayeh HaMesim, as long as you didn't say Ata Kodesh, you can add Mashiv haGeshem in over there because you have a chiyuv to say it. But things you don't have a chiyuv, you're not machzir, I say you can't go back. Why taka do we not go back for Ma'ariv?
At night.
Mayal v'yaveh, Ma'ariv v'shchodesh. What's the reason? What's Ma'ariv different? The reason is because the halacha was when in order to mekadesh the chodesh, the bezin had you only mekadesh by day. The bezin hears the Edom come and say they saw the new moon. Those days it didn't work by the calendar. Work they saw by a physical sighting of the moon.
Standing by the mountain.
Right? So they're watching and they're coming to the Sanhedrin, they're saying, we saw the Sanhedrin's asking the questions, making sure they're kosher Edom, their Edom is kosher. If it's daytime, the bezin could stand up and say, Mekudesh, it's Rish Chodesh. However, if they did not say Mekudesh, it turned night, you're not Mekadesh the Chodesh by night. Because it has like a din, all dinim of a bezin you only do by day, not at night. So we have to wait for so the next day is going to be Rish Chodesh. So Lamaisa, since we're not Mekadesh Rish Chodesh by night, so if you forgot Yalavot by night, we say it's okay. You don't have to say it again. So those things which you're not machzir a person for, you have no right to add them into the Sima bracha. We say no, you finished the bracha, even though you didn't start the next bracha. We say tough luck, it's too late. You rely on the fact that you don't have to go back. You don't have to go back for Yal V'Yavi or Havdalah because you have on the Kais. You're going to say on the Kais anyways. Mashiv hoRuach, you could, we say it's not yet the Sima bracha. Over there you could add it on. If you didn't say Ata Kodesh.
But if I didn't start the new bracha, I can add up whatever I want?
People?
Yeah, people.
No. Because there's no chiyuv to add people in. You should add them in only before the bracha, Sima bracha.
Before Siyum.
Yeah. Because there's no chiyuv to say in the bracha these people. It's a nice thing.
But I didn't start the next bracha.
Right? But still, just like Yalav Yavai, you can't add or Havdalah, Hatachan Antano, it's finished. Say to over here, unless it's something you're mechuyev to do. If you have a chiyuv to say this, then you're allowed to add it in.
Somebody asked me this week in Manhattan, I daven mincha. The chazan forgot Yalav Yavai.
At Mincha. The problem is to come back to return.
Oh, the chazan bechazar sashatz.
Yeah. By the time they realize it's already finished one.
No one was listening.
Yep.
It's a bigger problem. The whole chazar sashatz.
No, yeah, they're right. Somebody extra mental shot.
By the way, if the chazan in his quiet Shmoneh forgets, he relies
And they loud.
on the Chazar Hashatz. He doesn't have to Tircha Tzibura. You don't make him go back, and he relies on that.
That's the mile with the new telephone, with the new Sidur. When it's Yalav Yavai, pop up. Mashiv hoRuach, haGeshem, pop up.
Shailas do other things also pop up. The
Yeah,
other
sure.
messages also pop up.
Sure. Sure.
So I think it's Yatzah Schari B'Seidah.
Exactly. But the technology made it in such a
Sometimes
way that it doesn't let you to forget.
Sometimes the new things help us, but they bring us more problems.
Exactly.
You have to know.
So far we didn't see any good Lado taking a telephone and diving from the telephone.
Yeah. A sefer has kedusha. Remember, at the end of the day, a sefer has kedusha. Siddur, chumash. It's the kedusha. The phone, people take to the bathroom. There's no kedusha to it.
Okay.
Remember that we need whatever we need to do, but something of my love. Taking a sefer, even though we sometimes don't have a sefer, so it's good. We can listen to a shir, we can learn from on a phone or a computer. At the end of the day, if we have a svarim available, we're sitting in a shul, we're in the house, we have a sefer. Why use your phone to read the chumash and take a helik chumash and read from the chumash?
It's something holy.
There's no point when you have a device. There's no point of reference. You can't go back. You can't go forward. It's very confusing
At
compared.
the end of the day, nothing could take away from what a book is, what a
Yeah.
sefer is, and
Sure.
the milas that you have in a sefer. No one wants to learn, a Gemara from a phone. I mean, you want to have a physical paper. It's
Why you look into something, it's easier, but it is like
research and other things. You are on a train. You're running somewhere. It makes sense. These are helpful things. A lot of things, good things you could do.
Ches.
Yeah. Now, Maisa and Sif Ches are going to explain this Klal Gadol in Shmoneh Esrei. Shmoneh Esrei is a Klal Gadol. Anyone who makes a mistake, a serious mistake, we're holding page Shin Lamed Aleph. Page Shin Lamed Aleph, top of the page, Sif Ches. Shin Lamed Aleph. So, we know that when someone makes a certain types of tu'usim in Shmoneh Esrei, certain mistakes, they are ma'akiv, and it's considered as if you change the bracha enough to warrant a repetition of the bracha. So if you make those type of mistakes, you have to go back to the beginning of the bracha in Shmoneh Esrei and say it again. But what happens if you made a mistake in the first three brachas and the last three brachas? So we spoke earlier that the first three brachas, and as well the last three brachas Shmoneh Esrei, are like one unit. If you make a mistake in one of them, which warrants that you have to repeat the bracha, it's a big enough mistake, you don't only go back to the beginning of that specific bracha. Even if you made a mistake in the third bracha, you would have to go back to the first bracha of Shmoneh Esrei, or to the first bracha of the last three. Now, what's the reason behind this? Why are the first three last three considered one unit? It's like Zeres HaKasuf, something you can understand, make sense out of?
What is the last three? Start say?
Yeah. You have Ritzei, Moedim, and Smishalom. So, the reason for this is like this. What's the reason b'chlal, these brachas? The Shmoneh Esrei, we are asking requests. There are 18 brachas. L'poil, we have it's called Shmoneh Esrei 18. There was b'chayil 19 brachas because Rabbi Gamliel added in the middle of Mashinim because he dealt with a lot of Jewish people that were trying to destroy the Jewish people. So he had to add in the extra bracha of Olam Malshinim to deal with those people that were slandering and trying to get us in trouble with the Goyim.
Like the Jewish BDS people.
And we have in every generation these type of individuals. You know, it's interesting, in Russia, the communists wanted also to have the Jewish people should tattletale on other Jewish people. They started a group called Yevseksia, which means the Jewish section. Ivrei means Jewish in Russian. Yevseksia means section. So Yevseksia was this section. So these people thought that the communists really want to bring such beautiful ideas and noble ideas. It's so important that we have to help them. And we have Nebuch, our Jewish brothers, our fathers, our kids, that they're out for lunch. They believe in this old tradition, and we have this modern thinking. So we'll let them know where the yeshivas are, where the shuls are. We'll help them close up shop. So what happened later on? Stalin Yamach Shemai killed them also. He killed them all. So after he used them all out, later on he went and he killed them out.
And the Nazis also.
Yeah, the Nazis had people who used to help them. It's not like it's not like if the Jewish person is going to make believe he's like them, they're going to like him. They don't like the Jewish people.
But Tzelem in Israel, there's a group called Tzelem.
On all the lectures, they say that if you try to behave like the guy, and they start hating you. Because you upset the balance.
We have to remember where the word B'Tselem comes from.
Word is what?
B'Tselem, in the image, is really a word of Chumash. B'Tselem Alekim, the image of Hashem. So these are people believe in Hashem, this probably. So anyways, we have people. So he instituted at 19 the bracha because of the need of the time, need of our generations. Now, the first three brachas are not requests. As well as the last three brachas. We are praising Hashem. When a servant comes to the master, he starts off saying, how great you are, master, you're unbelievable, you're wonderful. And now I'd like to ask you for a few things. As he finishes asking, he says, I want to thank you and I want to praise you. And he praises you. It's a sandwich. So there's Shavach v'Haidah B'Tchila, B'Soif, and in the middle is She'ela. We have 12 or 13 brachas that we say. So since the beginning is Shavach and the ending is Shavach, they're really one unit. It's all Shavach and the ending is all Shavach. In the middle, each bracha has its own distinct identity. But the beginning is all about different praise of Hashem. It's all praise. The ending is all praise 3. So therefore, you make a mistake in any one of them, we go back to the beginning of 1 year. This is what he says in Sifches. Gimel braches rishonis chashuves keachas. Why hoyel v'nyanam echad l'sada shivchei shamakim? Because they all have one idea behind them to organize praise of Hashem. Koidim she'elas rachim. Before one asks for one needs. Ke'eved she'nesada shevach hafei rabbi koidim shevakish prasman. And before one asks for a prize, something from his master, the servant, has to praise his master. V'chein gimel achroines chashuves ka'achas. The 3 last ones are also on shein ke'eved she'kibel prasman rabbi. It's like a servant who already received what he wanted from his master. V'niftul hayachli is going away and praising him and thanking him for what he gave him. The ficha, therefore, b'chol makim shetani place one makes a mistake. Begimel rishonis in the first 3. Choydel eshatvila. Go back to the beginning of Shmoneh. Over gimel achreinis choydel avoda. The last 3 you go back to avoda, which means ritzei, which is the beginning of avoda, talking about our avoda Hashem should be accepted. Our karbanis, our tefillah should be accepted by Hashem.
But that's not the Hidah.
No, ritzei is avoda.
So how is Avodah connected to them?
For Moedim is
Not sure, it's a
is
good
a thank
question.
you. No, for Moedim is thank you. Let's say it's not.
Ritzei is the 3rd bracha. Is the
Not
first
the
of the last 2 brachas. I don't know. It's a good question.
Let's say
Also,
let's say it's not a bracha.
Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom is also, Sim Shalom really is a request. Sim gives Shalom, Toiva, or Bracha, Chayim, Chayin, the Chesed. We're asking, please give us this whole, we have a whole list of it asking for. We don't even say please, we say Sim, give Bracha, Toiva, Shalom, a whole list over there.
Right, so you're just trying to prove that.
What we're saying, the whole last 3 brachas is a praise, not like you said, like a effort, saying thank you.
Maybe
Thank you for that, thank you for that,
part of
thank you for that. It's not like a...
Let's say Hashem. Oh, it is a request, let's say.
The word Ritzei is not a request. The word Ritzei is like...
If I'm favor.
So the Lamaisa is another sim now. Alter does say clearly that it's taka true that the Birchas Avodah, which is would say, and Sim Shalom is Bakasha Tzorchim, but it's Bakasha Tzorchi Rabin. It's not private requests. The other ones we're asking for Klal Yisrael. If we ask for Klal Yisrael together with the Shevach, you're allowed to ask for Klal Yisrael because it's also a Shevach to Hashem that we need him as a rule. We all need to come on to him. All of Klal Yisrael needs these things from you. We need you. We all, as a unit, we all need you. So it's a praise to Hashem as a leader that he needs us all. So you're allowed to ask for tzorich of a rabbim middle of the brachas of Shevach, because this is also a Shevach, but for Hashem. But if you want to ask for your private thing, your private, your refuah, whatever it might be, this is not the time.
That answers the question.
Yeah. The Alter Rebbe over there is coming to explain why in certain countries they said certain piyutim. They said certain piyutim. They would add in the last 3 brachas. But l'chora, how can you ask for things? This is the shevach of the Eibishter. Rebbe explains it's not. Since we're asking for things of that tzibur, not a personal request. There's also a shevach for Hashem that kulam srichim le rabbim srichim le, everyone needs Hashem, and it's also praise. Yeah. So therefore, okay. So where the bein should be yachid, going back to our sifches, we are here on the 5th line. Bein shu yachid, bein shu tzibur. Whether you're davening privately shmoneh, whether chazaras hashatz. If it's a mistake that cannot be corrected, unless one goes back to the beginning of the bracha and made a mistake. For example, what's an example of a mistake that you have to be choizer? When has he made a mistake in the chasimas of one of the brachas? Shechasim bracha zur be'in bracha cheres. You made a chsima of a bracha, of a different bracha. So the whole bracha was talking about Rafa'inu. In the ending, you said Baruch Ata Hashem, Baruch Hashem. So you switched the... Or Shechasim hakel HaKadosh V'seres Mitzvah.
Instead of Melech HaKodesh.
Instead of Melech HaKadosh. V'lo niskad lachak dibur. You did not remember right away, because if you remember right away, you could correct yourself. Kel Kadosh Melech HaKadosh. But if you didn't remember right away, in those cases, you can't go back and say again, Baruch Ata Hashem. It's Hashem's name. You can only go back if you say it right away. So then you, similarly in the middle bracha Shemona Esrei, but if the mistake happened in the first three brachas, like for example, Hakel HaKadosh, you have to go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei, because one unit. In the middle brachas, you just go back to the beginning of that specific bracha.
Oh, you bounce back to the beginning of the bracha if it's not part of the first three or the last three.
Yeah. If a mistake you made is another bracha, like Baruch Hashem Baruch Hashanim, and it was a bracha Rafa'inu, so you go back to Rafa'inu.
Even if you remembered later on?
Yeah, you'll have to go back to that bracha and do the whole Shemona Esrei.
What about Ya'aleh V'yovo? If you forget and you remember at the end, a
Go
Tovshu,
back to Ritzay.
you have to go back to the beginning?
No.
If you don't
Go
remember.
back to Ritzay.
You go back to it.
Ritzay. Ritzay Hashem. You go back to the place where Ya'aleh V'yovo. Go back to Ritzay.
Now, what if it's, if that's, let's say Marav,
Ma'ariv you don't have to go back for Ya'aleh V'yovo. Ma'ariv is Chodesh.
and Shacharis,
Shachas and Mincha you have to go back.
Mincha.
And by the way, Chol HaMoed, you have to go back at night as well. Because the whole reason we don't go back at night, explained before, is only because a Mekatchen HaChodesh B'layla. Because the Sanhedrin, the Bezdin, will not Mekadesh and make Rish Chodesh at night, so therefore, b'diavad, you forgot Ya'aleh at night, you don't go back. But that reason only applies to Rish Chodesh. She'en Kein Chol HaMoed has nothing to do with that. So you have to maskir the Yom Tov, go back by night as well, but Ma'ariv. I think we should go to Ma'ariv.
We're exactly 10.
In the middle of the...
Hey, Shekaya, for the...
Oh, what happened? You finished the first one?
I have like 5 minutes left.
Right now.
I could load you up the second and take up the first.
Kaddish?